Hey, what up everyone? Corey Taylor here from Slipknot and Stone Sour, and you are watching Loudwire.
Hey everybody, Gruhamed here from Loudwire. This is Corey Taylor, and the bad news is he probably hates you, as he will describe in You're Making Me Hate You, the new book. Really, really good. Honestly, I really enjoyed reading this thing. Really, really funny. A great take on life and how one should and should not behave in public, and many, many more things. The original subtitle.
Which honestly was a joke. I know you're talking about the Nerdist interview, right?
I believe it was that.
Yeah.
Now, I can't say the title, but if you would say it,
I believe it was something like, or how many dicks Justin Bieber has sucked and lied about, or some shit like that.
I believe it was 1,000.
Yeah, it was like that. that was a joke. But honestly, I'm sure it wouldn't have gotten cleared either. But you know, fuck it.
So if just to say hypothetically, if it was allowed for that to be the subtitle, would there be a chance?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay, perfect.
Absolutely. That dude's got karmic fucking feedback coming out of his gooch right now. So, I mean, whatever it takes to fucking bring him down a little bit, the more the better.
Brilliant. So, you know, this is a bit different than your two other books. You know, first one a bit more of an autobiography.
Kinda, yeah. I mean, it was a little more about just you know, talking about the sins as they partake to just everyday life and how antiquated thought can't really partake in modern living, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, 7 Deadly Sins, and then
a funny thing
happened on the way to heaven. Yes, the long titles just boggle my mind. Which was another great one about paranormal encounters. This one a little more just kind of lighthearted.
It's just me bitching, man.
Yeah,
really. I mean, it's just me ranting. It's my old man shaking his cane at the kids in the yard kind of book, and. You'd be surprised how many people agree with me. I thought I was going to get in a lot more trouble, and holy shit, dude. Like, it's ridiculous.
I think a lot of people will relate. And
thank God. I don't feel crazy now.
Yeah, so with this book, was there a challenge in maybe writing a book that really you could have gone any direction with?
I mean, the only challenge was making sure that, you know, there were bursts of like angry kind of insight, but then balanced with the fact that this is a book that I want people to enjoy. Like, it's not just all me, it's not a manifesto, let's put it that way. I wanted people to see the humor in it, you know, because that was kind of the point, you know. I mean, the point of it was to write something funny and then have people go, oh, you know. It's like, it's, you know, that's always been my favorite kind of comedy. It's the comedy that makes you think. You know, after you laughed your balls off, you walked away going, God, you know, he was right about that. So this is kind of my attempt. I don't know if I pulled it off, but, you know, like a lot of people seem to enjoy it. So the balance was just kind of, you know, making sure I reined myself in and that I was able to kind of point that finger back at myself.
Absolutely.
So it didn't come off as, you know, self-righteous.
Yes, you absolutely do not come off as infallible in the book.
Thank God.
And you end up the book, pot, meet kettle.
Yes.
And you pointed at yourself.
Oh, right.
That must have been enjoyable for you to really just roast yourself.
And honestly, that's the tip of the iceberg. I mean, that was just kind of keeping it into one chapter. I could have done a whole book about how I'm just as much a fuck up as anybody else is. So,
sure.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you put yourself up on a pedestal too high, the further down you're going to fall, you know? And it seems like people who do that, who have absolutely no flexibility in ego or, you know, how they try to dictate their taste to other people. Those are usually the people who fall the hardest, you know, that would have just as many skeletons in their closet as everybody else. And then when that statue falls over, it shatters into a million pieces. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep my feet on the ground and make sure people realize, like, I'm just as dumb as everybody else. So I may be pissed, but maybe I'm just as pissed at myself as I am everybody else.
They say that, you know, every writer kind of has their voice.
Yeah.
But, I think that you have many, many voices.
Yeah.
One of which I feel is a British man. just because like your love of words and just language comes out in all these different ways. And you know, being kind of a man who's traveled around the world and has been, you know, exposed to so many different cultures, has that sort of you know, invaded your personal monologue in your head?
A little bit, but I mean, before that, I mean, I'm a huge fan of British humor, whether it's Monty Python or The Young Ones, or, you know, or even going back to like Beyond the Fringe, which I listened to like when I was younger. I've always been kind of an Anglophile, you know, like I've always kind of had this acerbic wit that kind of goes with the anger, you know, and I've just always had a way of kind of looking at things differently that has always kind of had an English bent to it. And you're the first person who's ever pointed that out, like other than my wife. You know,
oh, wow.
She's like, you were born in the wrong country. And I was like, I fucking know, right?
I think maybe one of the most pissed off chapters was probably the one where you were taking on the world of pop music and reality television and stuff like that. So with that, was it difficult to, I guess, keep yourself back from just going as hard as you really wanted to, but you again, keep it fun.
Keep it respectful. To a point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, once again, I go off on these tangents, and half the time I don't know if I'm making any sense because my head just spins at like 1,000,000 miles an hour. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't just kind of, you know, pointing around going, you suck, you suck, you suck. I wanted to give reasons why, you know, like that why music today, for the most part, is garbage. Why television today, for the most part, is garbage. Why everything that we kind of look at for entertainment is just, it's almost insulting in its idiocy, you know? For me, it was more about, again, balancing the humor with the rage pointing, you know, and making sure that I didn't come off like a colossal prick, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who look at my music and everything I do, it's like, well, you're part of the problem, dipshit. And I'm like, touche, fine, to each his own. But at the same time, it's my book, not yours, so go fuck yourself.